Okay, let's go to the next question. Shlomit from Rishon LeZion. She's asking, what is the difference between this generation and the previous generation? Why do I always feel that my child is never satisfied? What do they need? Can we, the current generation, give them what they need? How can I build a happy generation? No, you can't build a happy generation. We have to give them preparation, the correct preparation, so that they build themselves correctly. Not by forcing, not by coercion. There's no coercion in spirituality. We have to give them preparation to... What kind of preparation? Preparation in one thing, how to work correctly with their ego. Their ego is what separates, that's the difference between our generation and their generation. This is how we usually act. I have an ego, a box, and it's filled with different stigmas and things that my teachers and my parents told me, and my environment and the society. Let's say for 60 years. Let's say 40. Let's say that I am a parent, not a grandparent. Now I have small children. What do? I take the same images, the same frameworks, the same actions, everything that belongs to me, to my generation, to my ego. I take it and I want to feed the child with it. I have to give him only one thing, the means on how to work on his ego. The difference between the generations is the ego. Their ego is bigger. On top of that, it has new forms. They're different creatures than us. We don't understand that when the ego is a little bit different, it's a completely different view of the world. You can see that the science and culture and education is completely different from what we had before. So what do you want to tell me? That I see him in a body that's different than me? I don't understand that it's a completely different creature? Of course. And we get confused because the body is the same. His body, my body. The food can be more or less the same. The pleasures can be more or less the same. But on top of the corporeal, the bodily things, the things that he thinks about, how he views the world, how he wants to open the world to him, that's a completely new creature. So what does it mean to give him the means to work with his ego correctly? Only from through the wisdom of Kabbalah. But what is the means? The means is knowing how to act with his desire to receive, which is the basis of being a human being, so that he or she know how to fulfill it in the best way. I will give you an example. I have a son in grade 1, and I talk to him about a lot of these things that we talk about, and I talk to him on a daily basis. And yesterday he had an activity with his friend, and when he finished this activity, I heard that he interrupted in the middle and he was taken out. I saw it. So I tell him, my dear son, my love, oh love of my life, what's happening with you? I don't know how to approach him because it's again and again and again. I'm desperate already. And what does he tell me? He has one answer to all the situations. That he understands that it's his ego that's exploding. But what can he do? But you're like that as well. And I'm like that as well. All of us are like that. The fight with the ego of what to do, how to build it in a more acceptable way. It's an unstoppable war, but I don't want to tell him just like a record. I keep on telling him the same thing. 3 times a day I have the same situation. So I talk to him once, I talk to him twice, and the 3rd time I think to myself, wow, I'm just a noobnik. When put him in an environment where there is correct behavior, and then he will receive it. He doesn't get anything from the parents, from his dad. It's very weird when the parents can give something to the child. Only if you're talking to him about the wisdom of Kabbalah, if you're connecting him to something that's higher than you. But if you want to be as an example to him, No, you can keep on talking your entire life. He's not going to accept it. It's not according to his nature. It's not according to the nature of the young generation to listen to the older generation and going by what the elderly ones are thinking and appreciating. What, then we're not going to go progressing, we're going to go into a regression. The young generation, the new generation has to open a new world. Oh, believe me, he doesn't pay any attention to me. You have to give him the vessels, the tools to build himself. You want to give him your views. He should look at things like me. He should love things like me. He should live like me. He should relate to things like me. No, you have to give him a program on how to manage the will to receive. And with this program, he will build himself in on the new degree. Him, no, you can't do it. And you can't influence this because you are not letting him actualize himself. What is this program? This program of bestowal, of how to use the ego to bring it to bestowal. How will I teach him? Only through the wisdom of Kabbalah. Well, I want to use the wisdom of Kabbalah. So what is the first lesson that I give him when I come home today? The freedom of choice, that you cannot choose anything, you cannot do anything in the world if you go after your ego. You are being managed like a doll, like a puppet on a string. Look, it's not you. Look at you from an angle. You want this, and you were given that. Where did the desire come to you? This and that, and you're starting to explain to him how he is connected to everyone. Now, ascend above this desire and start looking at yourself from above. This is me. This is my I, and this is my body. And now let's look at it from above. How can I manage the body so that I really earn something out of the situation? Then you teach him what to do with his body. How can you do it? If you are managed from above, there is none else beside him. How can you do it? You can rise to this level of making decisions of where the directions are coming from where you're being enacted from, and from there we can really manage everything that's happening here. You will be the lucky one. You will manage your own luck. Let me teach you. And then you choose what to do with this force, with this method. That's your role. That's your role. I'm not going to tell you what to do, how to live, and how to look at it. You check it for yourself. But the means, look, it's not mine that I'm giving you. It means that scientifically that it comes from the nature, from generation to generation. When the child sees that you are dealing with something important, he accepts it. But he wants to build a model from these important things that is his own. See, my son, he is stubborn. If I give him something and I do it, I get it ready for him, then he doesn't use it. You have to give it to him as raw material, and he has to do it on his own. Doesn't matter, he'll do it himself. He learns from you how to do it. Yes, for example, he likes to eat toast. If you give him to him cut, he won't eat it. He won't eat it. Give me to cut the toast. I want to cut it myself. So what you said right now, I'll do it. But in your opinion, when can you start speaking to a child like that? Before he's born. Okay, I have a son whose name is Daniel, and my wife, he's 1 year and 3 months. Ever since our TV was launched, my wife, who is his grandma, She is always putting the channel on for him. And from what age does he understand things? He understands already. You can't get it out of him. It's in his soul. It's written in his soul. We don't know what extent it influences him. To what extent it influences him. Because the soul has no age. It doesn't matter. I see that he looks at me, he recognizes me because of the screen. I see him 5 minutes a week, something like that. So, this program that you were talking about of how to treat reality, this program, it essentially goes into a child without him paying attention at all, not from within. He'll feel reality. So you have to give him the tools. That's it. And specifically leave him in this knowledge that I'm giving you the tools and you do what you want.